And we are back, people. What's up? Going over Dolphins' first public training camp practice today. Lots of news, lots of people talking about it, some videos to show. Also going to talk, the Tua contract details came out. We didn't get to talk about the details last time. We'll go over that a little bit. Like Pro Football Talk posted the details out there if you guys want to really check it out and get into it and how each year is structured. But basically, to break it down, like the first 3 years are the ones that are kind of guaranteed, and then after that, that's where things get a little more flexible. I think one of the biggest things I want to point out is that like his salary cap is only a hit of $9.5 million this season, so I think it went down about $13 million. I don't expect them to I don't think they did that to just automatically make a big move. I think they're going to try to probably roll over some of that money to the next years, but just in case they needed money this year, like say someone came available, they want to make a big trade, they actually have draft picks next year. I would not be surprised with that newfound cap space that Tua's new contract brings, that if they did decide to make a big move down the line, I don't see it. I could see them signing some people on the lower end here pretty early, but I don't think they're going to make a big move that would be into the season or if something surprising happens. But I think that's more of just a just in case thing, but you can still roll it over to the next seasons. What's up, Scotty? What's up, Zim? How you guys doing? Just got back from a 7-mile hike. Sounds like fun. But yeah, pretty good day. Tua went and did his first interview. I don't know if you guys saw that. Had some interesting things to say. I'm gonna go over Wingfield has so much. Travis Wingfield has a lot of tweets talking about today, and I had some of the videos saved too that I looked over. That they posted. Tua apparently got dared to do the show me the money thing, which is pretty funny, but yeah. Yeah, with the roller, I don't mind lower year. Yeah, and I'm expecting them to probably roll over most of it unless something happens that they're not expecting. Tua's the most humble guy for its peak. Yeah, apparently he didn't even know the deal was done. So I think that was him pretty much telling his team just hey, if it gets close enough, you just accept the deal, which is pretty wild. Yeah, we can go over Wingfield. This has so many tweets to go through, but yeah. First and foremost, David Long got taken off the PUP, and he looked pretty fresh, explosive, so that's a good sign. I've only heard good, positive things about the linebacker group: Jordan Brooks, Anthony Walker. If David Long is looking good, I feel really confident, more confident than I feel about the off-ball linebacker group in quite some time, honestly. So that's always a nice sign to see. They're very intriguing with their combination of instincts and explosiveness, and they do it in kind of different ways, all three of them. So it's a nice combo of players to see. Also, I don't know if you guys seen Miami Dolphins Twitter. You guys probably saw the videos, but they made a pretty good hype video for Tua. Probably the best social media video I've seen the Dolphins do in quite some time. Hill and Long, the next two extensions. Yeah, you think Long gets extended? I could see that. You know why I could see that? Because I think I think they want to get Holland and Phillips done, obviously, because those are probably the biggest priorities when you look at how they were drafted. But I'm guessing the Hill and Long ones are easier to get done. They could get those things because Longs wouldn't be as expensive, and then Hill is you're just kind of doing probably a slight restructure of the contract he already has, so you probably get done pretty easy. But Wingfield has had good things to say about a lot of the rookies. Chop, Patrick Paul. I heard some mixed things about Patrick Paul today. He got beat a couple times, but Wingfield was saying Patrick Paul, every time he put his binoculars on him, he was executing a controlled, patient reps, settling into his pass set, shutting down the corner. That's nice to hear, at least that he's looking at he's one of the players I will be keeping a close eye on in preseason, see how much his technique has improved. That can give me some hope and things like that, which will be very, very interesting. Yeah, definitely one of the players to keep an eye on for, because sometimes guys that really struggle with technique for years, and they seem like pretty smart players too, it can just be a coaching thing. Maybe they were literally taught to play with, that level of technique. So we'll see how that ends up working out. But Tua was apparently painting the corners in the red zone 1v1s. I saw there's some of the videos that we'll take a look at later. Had a gorgeous back shoulder to Barrios. Craycraft put a DB in a spin cycle, caught a perfect floater on the end line. Then he stuck one between the 8 and 3 on Malik for a score, which is good. Looked like, I've heard, honestly, I feel like Craycraft has been the receiver I've heard the most about, outside of the Waddles and the Hill big plays. I feel like Craycraft always does this though, and he's a guy that's probably gonna be around again, and I don't mind that because he's kind of like the perfect depth receiver for this offense. Right, a certain reporter. Yeah, it's weird. I've seen pretty, because it's weird because like Wingfield has talked pretty glowingly about him, and then I was like, oh, so he's practicing well, and then I saw some other guys say some other things. So I'm gonna wait till I see my own eyes for it, because I do feel like he definitely can improve, and I'm expecting him to look better than he ever did in college, just technique wise. I don't know if he'll ever reach the ceiling quite like the Dolphins think he will, but I'm excited to see how that whole vision goes. We probably won't see much of him this season outside of the preseason, but in the years down the line, I'm sure we will. Ramsey and Waddle had a good battle. Waddle won 2 of the 1v1s, which is expected. I think receivers have a bigger advantage in the 1v1 drills. Ramsey had the one win where he had a nice pass breakup, but Waddle got him with some nice double moves. I think I have that video I can show later on. Jeff Wilson wore the orange jersey today. Apparently had a nice little big run with, Patrick Paul leading the way, being able to widen the edge. I heard good things about Chop, specifically rushing from the inside. Apparently he beat Lester Cotton for a sack. Yeah, Scotty, I don't put too much stock into what Omar has to say. I usually don't agree with a lot of his evaluation takes, so because yeah, he did. But yeah, let's see. So Chop wins immediate for the con sack. Tua tries Waddle deep on the first play. Landry Campbell stays on the top, breaks it up. Strong camp for Campbell so far continues. It looks like to me Campbell kind of has that path to safety 4, which makes sense. He's probably as ahead of the game anyways. He's had a good camp. Didn't look that bad in his limited snaps last year defensively anyways, and he's more of a special teams guy, so that probably gives him the advantage over all the other players. That's kind of like who everyone has to pass to make the roster on that back end. Looked like Tua had H-hand deep but couldn't complete the catch. Holland was in close proximity. I'm interested to see if that was more of like an H-hand or Tua problem. Obviously, we won't see that video, but that's something they kind of struggled with last year at times. Like we're on those deep balls, getting on the same page. That's like a big thing that Tua and H-hand need to work on for sure. But it looks like they've gotten better at it. But still, the plays will be missed from time to time. Raheem with an explosive run, weaving his way through traffic. Nice gap opened it by Brewer and Rob Jones. Apparently, obviously starting left guard has been Isaiah Wynn. On the report, it was the starting right guard was Robert Jones, which doesn't surprise me that they went for the Robert Jones approach because he's the most physical out of those 3 guys that would be competing. While Driscoll is more of like in the same vein as Isaiah Wynn, and Robert Jones probably gives you the most of similar to what Robert Hunt would have given you last year out of the guys you have. So it doesn't surprise me they wanted more of like a mauler at right guard. We'll see if he ends up winning the battle, but I think he probably has the upper hand at this current point, I would say, out of the 3 guys. I heard positive things about Jalen Wright as well. That's always nice to see. Jalen Wright looked very explosive. He looked more confident with his cuts, apparently, which is a big thing. That's kind of like the big thing, I think, for him translating the NFL is that the Tennessee system was so weird. It's hard to get like a good idea at times of him as a player because their system just doesn't translate well to the next level. But you could see like his skill set, his combination of traits, that athleticism at his size, his ability to change directions, but with the quick burst to fit in this offense, definitely is a guy that you could see translating. It's just he's got to get there, and it seems like he's improved. At least this was like his best practice yet, from what I've heard. Armstead, Wynn, Brewer, Jones, AJ's lineup. Yeah, that's what I saw. Like someone posted like a picture, I think, earlier. I don't think I saved it, but that was like on the depth chart they handed out to people. I think that was the 5. White drills one to Malik Washington over the middle, who catches and turn up the field for a nice gain. I heard more positive things from Malik today, it seemed, and like apparently he made one of the best catches in the past thing. We also he did like a nice, he looked like, an acrobat out there doing a flip for the fans and stuff like that. Definitely an athlete. Still one of probably my favorite draft picks. Excited to see him in preseason a lot too. Tua threw one interception, but it was on on a boot, hand in his face. Wingfield said he didn't see who, but I think someone else reported that it was Sealer that tipped it. The ball so was tipped in his face, and then Holland got the pick. So that happened. Tua steps up from pressure, sprints right, and finds Waddle coming across the field on the goal line. Tua looks quicker / springier. I think I have that video saved somewhere, so I'll find that later when I go to show those videos. Show them kind of back to back to back. But yeah, he did look a little quicker, and that's like the biggest thing for Tua this year. I think him losing weight, the biggest thing is him being able to create a little more off script, be a little more quicker in the pocket. He doesn't even have to, get outside the pocket, run for yards. It's just extend the play, extra second, be able to step up, avoid people, and then all that within combination of staying healthy still with that, losing that weight. I'm down with that. Let Ike focus on backup center and just go backup swing guard. Yeah, that's probably why I've kind of been leaning more towards Rob Jones, because I think even though I really like Driscoll, I think he's more like Wynn, and I think they really want a different sort of skill set at right guard, more of that Mauler type. Plus, as you said, it allows Eichenberg to focus on the backup center, and he could still play backup guard if needed. And then also Driscoll can do both backup guard spots, and I think he's the one who, if Isaiah Wynn goes down, which he's most likely to miss some time from an injury just due to the history, he gives you the best chance to replace him because he's like the most athletically similar to him. But yeah, I've heard that Austin Jackson and Calais Campbell have had some good battles. They've been going pretty back and forth. Brewer's been shining in the run game and was pretty good in his 101s. But yeah. Let's see. More positives from Jonnu Smith. Looks like I've just heard the positive when it comes to Jonnu is that they're giving him handoffs and stuff like that. They're using him on the reverse game. I just think that's super intriguing that you can give a guy like that who, honestly, he has experience literally being like a wildcat quarterback, playing as a running back. They gave him jet sweeps last year. It's just very crazy to have that type of versatility from your tight end. But yeah. How's Joey Fortson? We need him. Yeah, I also, Scotty, I agree. I've heard the tight room battle has been pretty big. Like, everyone's looked good. Like, obviously, you know what to expect out of Durham Smythe. We know, don't need to talk about him too much. Heard great things about Johnny Smith. Heard Fortson has been, as advertised, doing great work in the red zone. Connor is probably having his best training camp yet. And then Julian Hill is probably your best inline blocking tight end with your physicality. He's the only other one that can really play in line on a consistent level outside of Smythe. So that gives him a good chance to really make the roster. So it'll be interesting. But yeah. I've heard Jeff Wilson also said, I think in an interview, that he lost some weight, and apparently he's done that to get more explosive, and he's looked pretty good so far in camp. They said he has sort of the upper hand right now to being that fourth running back, which doesn't surprise me. He has experience within the system. Obviously, I've said that I would prefer to be Chris Brooks, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it's Jeff Wilson as the fourth and they try to keep Brooks on the practice squad. But yeah, Tanner Connor had a touchdown from Mike White, floated in the back of the end zone wide open. White and Wright have trouble with the handoff thanks to immediate pressure from Grayson Murphy, who falls on fumble. He's made a play each day out here. Now, I want to talk about Grayson Murphy because if you guys have been following or watching some of the breakdowns or just the streams where we talked about the UDFAs or rookies, Grayson Murphy has been my favorite UDFA. I thought he far and away had the best film out of those guys. And apparently he's made plays each day out here. He had another sack today. Fumble recovery. He's been super explosive, disruptive in the backfield. And I think with Chubb going to be on probably the pup to start the season, and if Phillips is active at the start of the season, he's still going to be returning from injury, so he's going to limit his snaps. I think Grayson has a good shot of still making the 53 as a fifth edge, because his competition for that fifth spot is very beatable, and I think he's looked pretty good, and I'm very excited to see him in preseason. Big fan of his game, his versatility, his alignment, constant disruption in the backfield. He's very good with his hands, has a really good understanding of how to get after it. So Grayson Murphy, huge fan, only positive so far. And I think out of the UDFAs, he has the best chance right now. Yeah. Let's see. One of the biggest reasons team needs Tua is his accuracy. That's why he can thrive with mostly small shooters. Yeah, that's a big reason I think Tua's always kind of thrived with guys who aren't like he didn't have the biggest receivers at Alabama too. He's always thrived with guys who can get to spots of the field very fast, leading them, allowing them to use their ability after the catch because he's very accurate and throws with anticipation. He can throw to big body guys too and throw like give them jump balls, but he is more of like there's guys who are just better at throwing those 50-50 jump balls, and there's guys that are better at throwing to open guys, and Tua is one more of those guys. Wilson is the only running back couldn't get to the edge. Yeah, I think that's why he said he lost some weight to try to get better in that outside zone scheme. That's why I personally just didn't think like he did have a different skill set than the other guys, so that it wasn't a bad thing to have him on the team. He's not a bad player, but yeah, Achane. Like I'm even last year with Ahmed, they tried to give Ahmed some of those Achane snaps, and he just could not get to the edge either. Like because Ahmed is quicker than he is fast. I read her next to put a face to the voice. How you doing, Q? Yeah, as I said, Calais Campbell and Austin Jackson had some great battles. This is all from Wingfield, all the things he wrote out on Twitter. Tua threw a keyhole ball for a touchdown to Braylon Sanders, working against Kader Kohu. Was glued to Sanders, but you know what they say about a perfect pass. I think we see that one later, and there's a video posted somewhere on Twitter with that one. It was a perfect pass, and it was very well covered, but it ended up getting completed. Fuller won a rep versus Waddle. Jalen Wright has his second explosive of the day, takes a toss and hits toll with conviction, coming out cleaner on the other side. Tier Tart couldn't have gone through the line faster if the rep was on air. Chop joined him for the immediate sack on Skylar Thompson. Tart on Driscoll and Chop on Hayes. That's interesting. Like hearing positives about Tier Tart. I feel like we started hearing about him on their last practice because I hadn't heard about him at all. Tier Tart, I would say out of like after Sealer, he probably has the highest upside of your defensive tackle room. It's just, can he put it all together? Can he play with high effort? Because I think that's kind of always been the thing with him. It's been like an effort thing, at least like the narratives about him. So I don't try to put too much stock into that stuff until I see it with my own eyes. But that guy can be, for his size, be super explosive. It's just got to be a consistent level. Let's see. Tua again gets off the spot quickly against pressure, finds angle, turns a loss into a gain. That's nice to hear. It looked like Tua was moving pretty well out there. It was pretty accurate. I think the only negative was he threw that pick that was tipped. And, I don't put, like, if you have an interception that's, like, tipped at the line of scrimmage, that's usually not too much on the QB, at least for, like, looking at them in the future. Jordan Brooks flew through the line of scrimmage for a tackle for loss on Mostert carry. Jordan Brooks, as I've been saying, I think after Ramsey, I think Jordan Brooks is the second most important player on the defense this season with the role that he has to play. And I think he's really going to surprise some people, and he's going to really help improve this linebacker room with his range, his ability in coverage to carry down the field. I think he helps out the third level of the defense. I think he's also a great communicator in that sense too, which helps out the second level. And then he helps out the first level too, I think, with his range and ability to work off, those guys taking on double teams and stuff. Is the video of what happened today allowable by the fans in NFL? What video are you talking about? Just the videos like the fans are posting and stuff? Let's see. Ramsey clamps Waddle on a throw over the middle. Ramsey and Waddle had a really good battle today, it seems. Apparently Jonnu Smith cleared a lane, widening the force defender on a Wilson run, so that's good to see. I think Jonnu Smith getting involved as a run blocker and being just like, I don't expect him to be like anything like elite as a run blocker. We just need him to be serviceable, especially as like a move guy, because he's not going to play too much in line. At least that's some of my expectations for him. But being more as like that move tight end H-back, constantly being in motion, maybe working some combos on the outside if he's, attached as like a wing type player. That's what I'm looking for from him. Yeah, the only updates I've seen is that he went limping off the field on Cam Smith, which is unfortunate. Hopefully it's not too serious because I do still expect Cam Smith to be one of the top 4 corners on the team this year, so he's going to see some sort of playing time. Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear about that, Scotty? Yeah, he went limping off the field with trainers. I was gonna get to that. I think it was a little farther down the line here, but yeah, unfortunate. That was like probably the biggest negative today. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should even show the videos. I was thinking about showing some of the videos that fans posted, but I'm wondering if I shouldn't, just in case it gets like taken down, and then my video will get taken down later. You know. However, do you see them using Smith as a power back in the run game? I think not necessarily as a power back, but I do think they're going to give him like those jet sweeps that you saw from him last season, even like random snaps here and there. Like I don't think they're gonna be just like every time it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, put him in the backfield. I don't think that's like the move, but I do think they're gonna find a way to give him some work in the running game, or just give him like an extension of a running game of plays on screen and stuff. But yeah, I do think he'll get some snaps here and there. Grayson Murphy had another sack, upfield rush, got the tackle to overset, cross-face, and got in there. That sounds exactly like Grayson Murphy. If you watch Grayson Murphy's college film, it's all about him getting upfield, tackle oversetting, him crossing the face of the guy, using usually like, you know, a club arm over type stuff. But yeah, huge fan of Grayson Murphy. Nice to hear those positive things. Anthony Walker and Calais Campbell shut down consecutive plays. Walker had great eye discipline on some eye candy in the backfield, disengaged, made the stop. Good to hear, because if you watch Walker's film, he's not the biggest guy. He's not the most athletic for his size either. Like usually when you're on your size, you got to be like a freak athlete. He's a pretty good athlete. Like he's a good athlete, but he doesn't have the greatest speed. But he's very intelligent. Like he really has a good feel for the game in both coverage and versus the runs. Really good eye discipline. Reads plays very well. A guy that I'm expecting more from Anthony Walker than I think most people are. I think he'll make a solid impact this season. Which tackle did Murphy beat? It doesn't say in this clip, but I think I read somewhere else it said he beat Keon Smith at one point. Or was that Chop that beat Keon? One of them beat Keon Smith, and then someone else. I don't know. It doesn't say in this specific. Maybe I'll find it later on. Are you confident we can stay healthy this year? I mean, I hope so. Sometimes that stuff just comes down to luck. It's hard to just like predict those types of things, you know? But I am confident we'll be more healthy than they were last year. 21 personnel, watch out, Achan Wright, Johnny Smith, and Waddle Hill. Yeah, it's a dangerous personnel package to have out there. Not really hearing Tyndall's name. Confident he goes to practice for the season. Definitely very, very possible of having that happen, but who knows? Honestly, I saw we signed Curtis Bullen. I don't really know anything about him. If he ends up like sticking out in the preseason, I'll definitely check him out and see if he actually has a chance of sticking around. But I'm not too sure about that. So funny that Tua yelled out, "Show me the money" on a dare from Coach Bevel. Yeah, that is comedy, because I was not, when I first saw the video, I wasn't expecting that from Tua, and I thought that was pretty funny. And then when he said it was a dare, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Jalen Wright had another hard, decisive run. That's what I love to hear. Decisive and hard runs from rookies, man, because I know he has the other things, but just seeing it quick and hitting it. Hayes and Hines clear a lane for Chris Brooks' touchdown run. No filler, just downhill and in from 6 yards out. It's good to hear. Jalen Wright is back in the end zone, showing that lateral agility at the point of attack. Very, very impressive day from the rookie. So it looked like it was Jalen Wright's best day as well. Lots of rookies showing up on this type of stuff. Jody Fortson had a nice contested catch in the red zone for a touchdown. Quality, that's kind of where one of the areas I can see him making an impact. And just talking about like the roster, I think, to me, if you keep 2 QBs, I think that allows you to keep an extra spot on the offense somewhere. And I've kind of thought of like, they're going to keep they usually keep 4 running backs. I would probably try to keep 10 O linemen personally. But to me, if I had to switch it around, I would only keep 3 running backs. And then I would rather keep 4 tight ends. Because I feel like Dolphins are the type of team to keep 4 running backs and 3 tight ends. Personally, I would switch that this year. I think it's easier to find talent at the running back position. So if you do get hurt, you can elevate guys from the practice squad and they could still make an impact, at the running back position. But I think it's harder to find tight end talent. And I feel like with the tight end battle this year, I'd rather keep extra tight ends than extra running backs this year around. But I still don't think the Dolphins will do that just because they haven't done it in the past. Yeah, I'm really excited. Like, legitimately, 5 running backs with Ingold. That's exactly why I'm like, just keep 3 running backs, and then it's technically 4 with Ingold instead of 4. Because I think they could probably keep Jeff Wilson as the 4th, and then I'd rather keep an extra tight end instead of that. But they could still keep 4 tight ends and technically keep like 9 O linemen. Only keep 6 receivers for sure. Don't keep more than 6. You don't need to. I'm very excited to see Jalen Ride in outside zone because I legitimately don't know if there's a single snap of him at Tennessee, at least in the past season. All the games I watched, I don't know if there was a single snap. He got 1 outside zone rep, which is insane. But it does fit his skill set very well. Tua just got through a full field progression before getting the ball all the way to the backside to his back. That's the nice part of 3 straight years in a system. He's playing as fast as he sees it. Yeah, just being more and more comfortable in the system, getting to more of those reads. I think it's a combination of McDaniel, Tua, and then the O-line giving him enough time, getting to more through that progression, and then maybe, because I know he can. We've seen him get through the progressions. It's just doing it, I think, on a more consistent basis. And it's not just a combination of him like, oh, he can't do it. I think it's times where McDaniel's like, just force it into this guy. Sometimes he's thinking of forcing it into those guys. And sometimes the O-line just doesn't give him any time. So hopefully he can progress in that area. Let's see. Connor closes practice with a beautiful one-handed grab at the back of a pylon from Tua. I think he only got 1 foot down, but the athleticism was on display. Nice to see that. Getting making a nice one-handed grab. Maybe not getting 2 feet, but showing off the athleticism. I think that's where because Tanner Connor, in his first year in preseason, I just did a film breakdown on Tanner Connor if you guys haven't seen it yet, so check that out if you want to. Tanner Connor, in the first preseason game of his rookie season, he had like a few catches, but then I think he got hurt and then he didn't play the rest of the preseason. He made the roster though, and then he got like 1 target, dropped it, then never got any targets again. Like even the next year's preseason, he only played in, I think, in like the 3rd preseason game really, was just blocking as a fullback. So I'm hoping this preseason they actually let Connor work as a receiver because he was a receiver in college. So I just want to see, those skills kind of translate because we haven't seen it in a very long time. Because he has a high ceiling there. If these tight ends do well during training camp and practice squad, any chance they might trade Smythe to make room? I was thinking that, Robert. Yeah, I think we've talked about that before, and people have asked me this. I'm not opposed to it. I've also thought about this before it was even asked to me, because I think Smythe is a solid player, but he's not like the most important for the system. I think you could probably get those reps out of Julian Hill that you want as a blocker, but at the same time, I just think they really trust Durham Smythe. I just don't see it happening personally, but who knows? I'm definitely not against it at all. Yeah, Scotty, you were the one that asked it. I remember that now. It's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. My gut's telling me the Dolphins wouldn't make that move. I think Chris Brooks makes this team as a running back or fullback over Wilson for sure. That's what I want to happen, but from just the reports I'm reading and just kind of guessing how, McDaniel and his loyalty to some of these players and the guys he trusts, I feel like he maybe will trust someone who understands the system as the 4th running back more, but we'll see. I also recommend checking out Kendall Lamb's interview. I'm not going to show it, but Kendall Lamb had a nice little interview to check out. He talked about a lot of things like his veteran presence. He talked about Patrick Paul for a little bit. He's very smart, awesome to listen to him. I would hate, hold on, let me see. I would hate to lose Brooks. He would get snatched from practice squad. Yeah, I think it's especially because when a lot of like usually you got to think it's a lot of rookies that usually get claimed because scouts have had a lot of eyes on rookies. But then the guys who kind of excelled in preseason, he excelled in preseason last year, and I'm kind of expecting Brooks to probably get most of the carries throughout preseason. Just makes sense. He will be the main guy who can get carries throughout. So if he gets a lot of carries, I expect he'll probably have another solid preseason. And then that gives him a decent chance of getting picked up. I don't think it's a guarantee he would get picked up out the practice squad, but there's definitely room for it. Tight end room is going to be a bold move, I think. Perfect. Have you been able to do a 53 yet? So many guys I want, but just not enough room. Brooks is one of them. I haven't done like the 53s, like really sat down and looked at it other than like when we were doing that on the streams and stuff. But I think once training camp ends or like maybe during the preseason, I'm really just going to be like, sit down and do it because I think I've been thinking about doing it now, but I think my mind will change on players once training camp rolls through, and then once I see people in action in preseason. So I'm just waiting for it to do it now or do it then. But yeah. Oh, here's this video actually. Let me see you guys this because I did see it in red zone. Obviously, it's red zone 1-on-1, so don't put too much stock in them throwing fades. But I did see multiple like of the highlights be fade throws in the red zone, which I mean makes sense. It's 1-on-1s. Like you're usually running like either a slant, a fade, or like a quick out. You know, you're not doing too much stuff. But this is an absolute diamond. It's Waddle beating Ramsey. Really good touch. Good route from Waddle. I think in the other practice view angle. And then Tua had like his whole family at his press conference. Even like McDaniel, Greer, and other coaches were all there. Let's see. Yeah, David Long got activated. Dolphins obviously announced that Tua extended through 28-28 season, so it's officially official. Let's see what else is there. Should I show this video? Fuck it. Okay. Here, right here. So this is Waddle versus Ramsey 1-on-1. This is the slant where he breaks him out of his shoes. Yeah. Hopefully, you know. Hopefully they don't catch me. I showed it real quick. Let's see. You think Mike White is out? Yeah, I mean, as I've said, I'm not too partial with Mike White or Skyler. I think they probably keep Mike White if I had to guess because they probably think it's easier to keep Skyler on their practice squad so then they can elevate or whatever. Or no, maybe they get rid of Mike White for money. I guess that's another way to look at it too. Brooks, Tanner, J. Hill, Bonner. I don't have making the 53 and it hurts. Yeah, and all three solid players and they probably could get maybe a couple of them on the practice squad, but I think a lot of those guys would get lost. I think Connor. Well, you didn't say. Oh yeah, you said Tanner. Okay, I think Connor they can get on the practice squad. They got him in the practice squad in the past. Julian Hill actually looked pretty good on film last season for his blocking ability. That might get picked up because tight end position isn't the strongest around the league. Brooks looked good in preseason last year, so teams looking for running back help possibly. And I think Ethan Bonner would probably get claimed if I had to guess. Perfect 2 early 53s are my jam. I know they change every day, but I do them all the time. Oh yeah, 53s are definitely fun. I kind of just don't like sit down and write it out. I usually just do it more so in my head, which leads to being a little bit off at times. But then I like right before the season, we'll really sit down and do it. I'll probably just have like a full stream where we just like we write it down, we break it out right before the season, or somewhere during the preseason. Really wonder what McDaniel said to Ross about getting Tua signed. Yeah, that was cool to see. I even made a tweet, I think, today where I said it's crazy how much like a coach can change things because obviously we know coaches have an effect, but like Tua's first coach, Brian Flores, didn't like Tua, and it is what it is. I'm not even here to talk negative about Flores, but he didn't like Tua. He had his reasons. That's fine, whatever. But like that made Tua's life kind of horrible there. He really struggled. He played really bad. His next coach is his biggest fan McDaniel loves Tua. He probably is the best fit for him, and then his play increases greatly. So definitely intriguing to see how that can change stuff. Did Tua throw some bombs today? I didn't. I think they did a lot of red zone. A lot of the videos they showed, it was a lot of red zone works, a lot of the red zone stuff. So I don't think they recorded any bombs. I know he tried. It said they tried to throw one deep to Waddle and it got knocked down, but I'm not sure if there was any recorded bombs. You think Tannehill's still on the menu for backup quarterback? I mean, if that's probably not. I mean, they probably would have already tried to bring him in, but he wouldn't be the worst backup quarterback. I'll say that. Ramsey didn't do good today. Well, apparently, like, yeah, Waddle beat him a couple times, but apparently it was a pretty even battle. And a lot of those were one-on-one. You're saying Ramsey's playing that? Yeah, he is playing the. I will say, in one-on-ones, the receiver should win in true one-on-ones. Like, they have like the whole field to work with. In like the actual drills, you know, even 7-on-7's tough too. But like 11-on-11s, when there's less space to work with, it's very difficult to cover someone, especially someone like Waddle, one-on-one with that level of explosiveness and route running ability. Let's see. Oh yeah, let me go back here. Oh yeah, this video the Dolphins posted on their Twitter account 4 hours ago with the him one, H1M, of Tua. Best probably video the social media teams made in a while. So gotta give them credit to that. If you guys haven't seen that, I would check that out. Oh yeah, here's I just found the video of the other angle, but we saw that one already. The ones the Dolphins actually posted. Okay, I'm showing this one because I think this is important. Okay, the video quality is bad, but bear with me, okay. Here's Tua. Just watch Tua look pretty quick. I feel like he just looks smooth there, and I feel like his release too, even on the move. I feel like sometimes when Tua stepped up like this, I feel like this is the quickest his release has looked on the move, and he just looks a little more agile with the weight loss. And this is like the one where he steps up, throws underneath the Waddle running. And those types of things just really help out, especially in the red zone, because I feel like the Dolphins, in McDaniel's first year, the Dolphins were actually very good in third downs and in the red zone. I feel like last year, even though the Dolphins offense got better, I feel like that's the area they kind of got worse at, was in the red zone as the year went on and on. They were a pretty good running team in the red zone, but throwing, people weren't really getting open. I feel like Tua looked a little less comfortable, so being able to create a little more off script, especially in the red zone, will help a lot. Yeah, having pads on changes everything. This is, don't overreact to any of this stuff. That's why, you don't put too much, take everything with a grain of salt here, but you can still learn stuff from these practices, how players are looking. And I think I usually use this stuff just to think what the coaches are thinking, Like, also here's Malik Washington doing a flip. But yeah, just like see what the coaches are seeing, who they're gonna have more of a positive outlook on. So when it does come to preseason, it's like a combination of things. But yeah, Cam Smith was walked off the field accompanied by a trainer with a limp. Unfortunate. I think that's a lot of the stuff that I saved. Yeah, that was pretty much everything involving the public practice today. I think we see a very confident Tua this season. I agree. I feel like Tua has been pretty confident in this system. He is a guy who slings the ball down the field, throws it tight into the windows, but there were times where I feel like he was, especially when the offensive lineman gave up quick pressures, where I feel like he looked a little bit panicky at times. So hopefully he can stay a little more calm, cool, and collected in those areas. I think Tua steps up his leadership on. Yeah, leadership. I feel like he just seems more confident in who he is as a person, being more natural in front of the mic and stuff. And I think that probably the best sign when it comes to like his leadership for people is how confident like the players have been talking about him too. Like the players clearly see him as a leader, and they've all been talking about him pretty glowingly, which helps. I was at practice. Top is super fast with the ball. Patrick Paul was not a disaster. Tua looked really good. Yeah, we talked about Patrick Paul earlier, where some of the reports were like Patrick Paul looked really good. Some were like, oh, he didn't look that good. So I'm excited to see Patrick Paul in action. I heard a lot of I've heard positive things about him, so I'm excited. Patrick Paul wasn't great, but seems so much better than his college days. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. That he still has his struggles, but I'm imagining his technique looks much, much improved. Definitely good news. Thank you for informing us, Randy. I'm excited to see Paul. Paul is one of the players I'm most excited to see in preseason, honestly, because I do expect improvement. It's just how much of it can happen. And if he shows improvement this early, I feel much better about his outlook in down the line. Because he doesn't need to play this season. He really doesn't need to play at all this season unless multiple injuries happen. Because he's not going to be the first tackle in. But if he does show him good play, then if he did have to play, he can be that guy and then be the left tackle down the line when Armstead retires. It's a good sign. That's a good sign, having some good reps. Yeah, and then, I've only heard good things about Chop, especially when Chop was aligning on the interior. He was cooking people. I think also what's his because Kendall Lamb talked about Patrick Paul and Chop Robinson. I really recommend watching the Kendall Lamb interview if you guys have not. He gives some good details on things that they can improve on, obviously as rookies, but how much talent they have. Patrick gonna give me props when Paul sets up. Yeah, I mean, we're probably far away from that because we probably won't see Paul this year at all. But I will say, all I'm saying is I would have made a different pick than Patrick Paul. But I do think he'll be better than I expected originally. But we'll see how it plays out. Any more things to talk about? I think that was every practice detail that we saw, that people talked about, all the videos that were posted, scrolling through. Well, I think this is here's this one, another obviously kind of blurry video. I think this is the video, this is the one to Braylon Sanders over Kohu, I think, because there's Kohu. I think it's a fade. Yeah, it's just a good-ass throw. Sometimes you can't beat a perfect throw, because he was in a good position, just didn't make it. By the way, I don't know if anyone told you, but Keon Smith ran first team exclusively. Really? Was Armstead not practicing? I think we keep 10-0 line because Butch won't. Yeah, as I've said, I think when you keep two quarterbacks, then you keep 10-0 line instead of 9-0 line. That's where I would go to first. Because I feel like Keon is... They did it last year. They kept Keon at all costs, Lamb on a one-year deal, and he said he's retiring. And then you also don't know if Armstead's going to retire after this year, so he can become your swing tackle if both of them end up going away, You can ask me where people were lined up. I can tell you what team where they were running and all that. We heard a little bit about Jonnu Smith with all the he was even getting some work, getting stuff maybe out of the backfield handoffs. Was it more jet sweep type of stuff, getting lined up outside motion? Keon making the 53 for sure. I hope so. I mean, I feel pretty confident about it. Randy, was it Keon, Wynn, Brewer, Jones, AJ? I wonder if they prefer Keon over Lamb at this point. But obviously they have Lamb just in case, because Lamb is a pretty good swing tackle to have too. I think Lamb might be a surprise cut. Yeah, I think it's possible, but I still don't think... I'd still put money on him making it. Also, Malik Washington was first team exclusively as well. Really? So he was just working with Tua the whole time? Because I know I think all the things I talked about, it was Tua throwing to him. Because I know on the depth chart, he's technically listed as with the third team. But that's usually where rookies get listed. To me, I just feel like Mike loves Washington, from the videos we saw, he feels like that type of player. I feel like Malik's going to get run pretty early, so I'm excited to see that. Plus with Taj turning basically into like a stash for next year, and Taj and Malik were, kind of fighting for spots there, Tanner Connor was at fullback a lot. Makes sense. Was Wit? I thought the only person who wasn't practicing was Ahmed. Interesting. But yeah. Okay. I think that's. I think that's everything to talk about. Pretty much. Talked for about 45 minutes. So, if you guys enjoyed this stream, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All that, nonsense.